still cannot believe it is real, but it's time to go into free agency. Our budget is going to change. So here's what we have. Again, with us winning the World Series, we have been told we can spend up to $130 million a year now. So what does this mean? Originally, my plan was this. Nolan Gorman, Shea Langoliers were not going to be coming back. Those guys were going to be just rentals. But we have the MVP of the league and our NLCS MVP. So we are going to start to try to hammer out a deal with Nolan Gorman. I still believe that Shea was just going to be a rental, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see where our budget leaves off. Ankiel Fernandez is a big decision for us. 25 years old. This is kind of what his career's looked like. 30-plus home. We won a World Series. But anyway, we have to focus up. He's gotten just steadily better every year. His first real full season with us, 30 home runs plus basically every single season. And OPS under 700, but has just climbed and climbed at a big jump this year. Being an all-star in 2026 for us. He has one more year of arbitration. Actually, 2 more years of arbitration potentially. And then he's a free agent. So what does that do for young Keel? What are our big plans for him? We already have first base kind of locked up. I don't know how much I want him in the outfield just with that speed. And clearly if we take Gorman, that's probably going to be our DH. I don't think do we move Nolan Gorman to third base? Do we move Nolan Jones back to right field? Like, what is the plan? Definitely something we'll figure out at this very moment. I'm not sure. Actually, let's just look at the team first. Let's just go over the roster before we get started. My plans with them, whatever. Dollander's someone that we're probably going to try to move on with. We know that Bobby White, Bud Leonard, JJ Rose, and Jesus Luzardo is solid. We're expecting James Mora. Marco Garcia was okay for us last year. He's been okay since the big leagues. Hardesty has been all right. Maybe we move on for Hardesty. We also have Parra. At this point, Dollander for the $6 million for the next 5 years, it just isn't worth it anymore. So maybe a team picks him up, maybe a team doesn't. We'll have to see. But we're going to try to be shopping Dollander in the offseason. Guys like Luzardo, White, Leonard, Mora, Rose, our guys are here. It's time to move. It's time to work. So we'll see what happens there. Again, relief pitchers probably going to be like this forever. We're just going to keep rotating in and out. Riley Pint's here for a little bit. We'll probably, with the season Bo Brisky had, probably bring him back. But guys like Gabe Spire, guys like Jimmy Herget, we're going to just be getting guys like that over and over again. Roger Calderon, we're going to go in with the expectation of being our closer unless we just find someone. In the last couple of years, we've just found guys we did not think we were going to be able to find for cheaper deals. I'll have to kind of see how the budget plays out, but he'll go into the season again as our closer until proven otherwise. Catcher, again, do we keep Langoliers? Do we not? It's interesting. Last year was, in retrospect, his better season kind of came on late towards that year. 25 home runs, a career high. 74 RBI, a career high. 20 doubles, a career high. 99 hits, a career high. Basically, in about 30 less games or 25 less games in 2023, surpassed a lot of his career totals and surpassed them by a decent amount. Way less strikeouts, way more walks, better in the triple slash all around, and as a WAR for him last season, a 3.2 WAR. How much of that was with us, I'm not quite sure, but a very, very solid player. We'll have to see in negotiations what his demand is. Drew Romo, Ralphie Velasquez, Mark Winchester. I'm super fine with either of these three guys being some form of catching tandem, duo, trio, however it may be. Romo has been kind of the Brenton Doyle effect. His offense, even though we haven't expected him to be, we don't expect him to be a crazy offensive guy. He's really, makes his money on the defensive end. But we can't have a guy in our lineup, with a sub 600 OPS. That's the big reason why we went out and got Langoliers, and the reason why we got the World Series, because we got 6 home runs in the postseason from our catcher, including a multi-home run games a couple of times. So Velasquez just really hasn't been figuring it out. I don't know if I think with just the seasons of control we have on him, we're going to try to let him play it out, but he might be on the move too. Ever since that big breakout year at age 19, age 20, the last few years have been disappointing for him. This is where kind of our decisions lie. We obviously jumped on the Tommy Domine train, and I'm not regretting that decision at all. I think that he's only 20 years old. He didn't have the best of showing, but I believe this bat plays. I believe this profile plays. He's going to be a first baseman for a long time. What does this do with these two? Well, if we bring him back, which we most likely are going to try to, he probably slots into DH. Now, what does we do with our DH / first base? We move him to the outfield. Do we move on from Yanquiel Fernandez? Do we say, you know what, even though Yanquiel's a better fielder, Gorman has the flexibility to go to third base, and then Nolan Jones, who's a better athlete, I would not mind having this guy in the outfield. Well, what's the plan here? I'm not sure, again, quite yet, but I think that's a good problem to have. Amador, second base, we're going to try to start hammering out his extension. He has 2 more years of team control with us, and then he's a free agent in 2031. I'd love to have him extended for the foreseeable future. Nolan Jones, again, what goes on with him? He's going to be on the team, clearly. What position he'll be playing, up for debate. Sterling Thompson will be on our bench, and here's what I'm going to get to. We're probably going to be moving on from Zach Veen. Had a really good season for us these last couple of years. He's been a serviceable, above league average bat, but definitely a guy that's making a few $1 million. We can offload this. He's a good player. It's just a very good problem to have. Get him someplace where you get playing time, move someone into the outfield, call it a day. We're going to have Sterling Thompson be that backup outfielder / third baseman. Love it. Max Wagner, we move on from him. He really hasn't progressed the needle much. He is 26. Does the team get desperate, try to grab onto a decent bat? What do we do here with our depth at third base? All types of questions. Ezequiel Tovar, again, solid. Don't need to talk about him. Ceddanne Rafaela, we will most likely be moving on from. 2 more years of arbitration. Going to be getting some good money, and I think that just Benny Montgomery and Sterling Thompson are both cheaper and does his job but better. Obviously, an incredible fielder. Someone's going to love him, but I think Thompson's still a really, really good fielder, both in the outfield and at third base. And bat's very similar, and same thing for Benny Montgomery. So, yeah, in a nutshell, is Ceddanne Rafaela one of the better fielders in the league? Yeah, but we have 2 plus defenders that play similar positions to him and have just as good of a bat. And it's a bench bat. I'd rather be paying $1 million a year for a bench bat than $3+ million. So that's where it is. And then we have Khalil Watson, who again plays a good defense. Maybe the bat isn't there, but has had some back-to-back pretty decent seasons. Or maybe we trade for somebody, who knows. Again, the outfield will look like this: Jazz, Stephen Kwan, and somebody in right field. I think we're going to be moving on from Bean. Obviously, Benny Montgomery is going to be our backup infielder. Had a great postseason in a limited time. He's probably going to platoon and play some, depending on what we do with Yanquiel, probably play against lefties. Yanquiel playing against righties. And that's the one thing about Yanquiel, just hasn't been able to hit lefties, even though the profile says he can. Just numbers haven't been there. Kim Metzger, Cyrus Johnson. These guys are kind of ready and almost ready for the show, so we'll see how long it takes for them to force my hand. But some other guys in the outfielder mix, and that is going to do it for what our team is going to need. Let's advance to the offseason and see what we do here. First off, we have some retirees. Cal Quantrill, former Rocky, is retiring. We're just going to go to Hudson, former Rocky. Antonio Sensatella, former Rocky, are all retiring. Carlos Rendon retires with numbers like this. But yeah, so another wave of players out of the league. If one of your favorite players is here, be Andrew McCutchen Hall of Famer potentially. Let's see. 300 home runs, 400 plus doubles, 1,000 plus RBI, really good triple slash, MVP, a bunch of all-stars, Gold Glove, bunch of Silver Sluggers. One of my favorite players ever growing up, watching. Really loved those Pirates teams growing up. He's awesome, probably a Hall of Famer. Nathan Eovaldi, Red Sox legend. Wrapped things up with the Phillies here on a minor league contract, never got out. A couple all-star appearances, a couple rings. Never forget Game 3 of the World Series 2018, where he had that incredible performance out of the bullpen. Also, former Red Sox legend Christian Vasquez is hanging it up. Some of the guys who did not have teams that are calling it quits: Matt Barnes, another guy that played for the Red Sox, Richard Blyer played for the Red Sox, Javier Baez, free agent. Again, such a weird, one of the weirder career trajectories we might have ever seen. Former Rocky C.J. Cron wasn't a Rocky when I was here, but a Rocky right before I got here. So obviously want to salute to a legend in Rockies history, Avisail Garcia, another one of those guys who had just a really weird career, really weird fall off. It's like, why did he fall off? Kenley Jansen, one of the best relievers in MLB history, finishes with 441 saves. Rafael Iglesias, 201 saves for hit. Craig Kimbrell, 417 saves. So who finished with more? 417, 441, it was Kenley. Kimbrell, Red Sox legend, awesome. Hall of Famer, yep, both of those guys most likely Hall of Famers with just their save numbers. Some guys who are pretty good for a decent amount of time, a decent amount of years. Guys like Drew Pomeranz, Brooks Raley, other guys, Pablo Reyes, Red Sox legend, shout out. Anthony Rizzo, is he a Hall of Famer? Maybe not Hall of Very Good, probably. Maybe he gets in there, maybe not. Edwin Rios, I think his claim to fame is first ever leadoff 2-run home run in MLB history, because he led off in an extra inning and hit a home run. I think it's just a weird stat I will never, ever, ever forget. George Springer, a couple World Series for him. Is he a Hall of Famer? Again, maybe another Hall of Very, Very Good. World Series MVP in 2017 when they broke the curse, and that is going to do it. Shout out Mike Yastrzemski. So again, our budget is going to have to get the player salaries to be under $130 million, which means we have about $35 million to give to player salaries for this year. So, with that in mind, let's check out Nolan Gorman, what he wants. I'll be prepared to offer him something like this: $156 million with a player option for 8 years to stay in Colorado. Get him here till he's 36 years old. Let's bump this up a little bit. Let's do 100. Clear 160. Actually, no, I like. I'm gonna offer him this contract, $19.5 million, which means we have about $10 million to spend after that, and we're gonna offer that contract. Hopefully, he accepts. Shea Langoliers actually for 11. This might be a little rich. This would basically just be our entire free agency budget for the year if we did not make any moves. I think we will be making moves, but I am not. I think we're going to say thank you to Shea Langoliers and let him go. It's a little too rich for my blood, especially with still the restrictions we have. And Spire and Herget, we're going to let test, and that is what we're going to do for round one of just our own negotiation. The renewing of contracts for our minor leaguers. Here's some guys that we just are not going. We're going to non-tender, tender, and not bring back at all. Let me see. Let me get to the screen. Jaden Hill, a guy that we're going to get rid of. 29 years old, just not going to be better and just want to free up some space here. Durbin Feldman, Dylan Nedved, Andrew Bash, Dugan Darnell, and Boone Wolf. also some guys we're not bringing back. Nick Cayley and Cody Freeman we're going to release as well. We just have so much depth at catcher. We don't need those guys anymore. And Brad Cumbest is going to be our last guy we're getting rid of. So those are the guys we're going on tenure. We'll be back to check out the free agents in just a moment. Let's take a look at the free agency class that we have coming up. And there are some studs in this class. Let's just go by position. You see some of the top players here. Best starting pitcher on the market is going to be George Kirby from Seattle. Hunter Brown, Kyle Bradish, Corbin Burns, Tyler Glasnow, David Peterson, Edward Cabrera, and Garrett Whitlock. A pretty decent starting pitcher market. We will not be in this starting pitcher market, but we will definitely be checking it out as it unfolds. For relievers, here's someone we maybe will go out and grab. So Ryan Helsley, Gregory Santos, Ron Marinaccio, Josh Hader, who's kind of falling down to earth a bit. Yennier Cano. There's some decent guys here, decent arms here to add to our bullpen. Edwin Diaz, maybe we get a bona fide stud closer. Evan Phillips, Felix Bautista in that realm as well. Catchers, backstops. We probably won't need one. Francisco Alvarez, Gabby Marino, Logan O'Hoppe, Shea Langoliers with a very top-heavy catcher class. If you didn't need one, you have 4 pretty good ones to choose from, with Alvarez maybe being the shining star with that defense and that power. But you have some good bats here as well, some good fielding catchers, and Yennier Diaz as well, a pretty solid option if you don't get your main guy, Tyler Stevenson, there as well. Torque, Spencer Torkelson, he looks like he's getting $200+ million. Obviously, Nolan Gorman we have an offer out for. He did not accept it in that first phase. Tristan Casas out there as well. He looks like he's trying to get a big contract as well. Those two guys have qualifying offers made that may deter teams from going out and signing them. Vinny Pasquantino, Andrew Vaughn, Luis Campusano, guys, if you don't have to worry about their qualifying offers. Gleyber Torres, a pretty weak second base class. Him and Ketel Marte headline that. Not the best defenders. Jorge Mateo, Kevin Biggio, and Ezekiel Duran kind of buy low guys. Gunnar Henderson, maybe the best player in this whole class. He is a guy who has hit 211 home runs for Baltimore in his time there. OPSing 890 for his career and a WAR total of 33.1. And since becoming the full-time starter, past his rookie season, his second season on, WARs over 3.5. 7 here, 8 here, 6 here. Let's just see what the baseline. Yeah, it starts at $32+ million a year. He's going to get it and be worth it. Royce Lewis, a guy who is pretty incredible. Health is his main concern, but if he stays on the field, he is one of the better players in the league. Christopher Morel, Jake Berger, Jose Ramirez kind of in that second tier. O'Neal Cruz's contract is up with the Pirates. Can't hit against lefties. Will absolutely mash righties. You play righties more often than not. Anthony Volpe as well. Tommy Edmonds, C.J. Abrams. And imagine you get Orlando Arcia and O'Neal Cruz as your shortstop platoon. Yeah, it's dangerous. That's actually dangerous. It's like basically having the best hitter in the league at shortstop every day. Spencer Steer, the big dog in the left field market, and some pretty decent guys here towards the end, but really it's Steer and the rest. James Outman headlines the center fielders. Jarren Duran, his contract is up with the Red Sox, and then it falls off with Byron Buxton and Cedric Mullins being good players, but older players. Right field, finally, Josh Lowe, Riley Green, and then Tyler O'Neill, old friend, Jack Sawinski, Gavin Lux. So I'm going to go make some offers, kind of check on our budget, see what happens, and we'll be back to show you kind of who we're going after in that first phase. So here's some guys we're going to go after in this first sense of free agency. Again, our roster's pretty much set and dry. Gregory Santos and Felix Bautista. Bautista, a really tough couple of years since coming back from Tommy John. Get a guy for 1 year. Maybe he figures it out. Maybe he doesn't. But definitely a guy that we're going to try to throw in the back of our bullpen. And then Gregory Santos, another guy who is coming off some pretty good years with Seattle. Had one tough year this year. And really the outlier is the home runs given up. He really doesn't give up that many home runs, but just got tagged this year for whatever reason. So Gregory Santos, the guy we're going to go after as well. Felix Bautista signs with the Blue Jays. Evan Phillips going to the Diamondbacks. You see the Bautista deal, basically 1 more year tacked on to $5 million we were going to give him. So some of the guys off the market. Gunnar Henderson going 8 years, $265 to Detroit. They get another guy. That's a really good team. Wow, first day of free agency, starting off hot. Another big reliever, 1 year, $17 million to the Atlanta Braves. George Kirby signed, so 2 of the better players. Not as much as I thought you would get from George Kirby, but he's going 9 years, $205 million to the Phillies. So some of our conference or league rival, or not rivals, but opponents getting stronger. Spencer Torkelson going to the Bay. See if those power numbers stay in that kind of park, but going from Wrigley to San Francisco, 2 of the windiest places to hit in the league. Kyle Bradish, a cheaper deal to go to the Boston Red Sox at 148 strikeouts in 200 innings, and they're adding to just a very solid rotation. Gabby Marino getting out of our division, going to the American League with the Mariners. Did win a ring with the Diamondbacks a couple seasons ago. Just on base, we did sign Gregory Santos. We did sign Yanquiel Fernandez, so we didn't strike out everywhere, even though we did not get our closer in Felix Bautista. Santos probably going to be looking for that closer role potentially with us. Spencer Steer also going to the Giants. So the Giants bulking up. They got Torkelson. They're getting Steer, so they're getting scarier. This is a team we're going to have to face a bunch this year. Jake Berger signs with the Twins. So they get a big bopper to go to their lineup, the team we beat in the World Series. Riley Green going to the Athletics. So the Athletics spending, they get a very good right fielder. We're going to check in on free agency, kind of see where it stands. We're about a month in. We've seen some big signings. And another big signing, Nolan Gorman staying with us. So he signs his contract for 8 seasons. He will be in Colorado. We couldn't let the league MVP go. Kind of forced our hand, so we signed him. Here's what everybody's looking at. The starting pitching market. Brown, market still not developing. Peterson, he might be close to signing. Whitlock and the rest kind of just not having the markets that they want. These guys, I assume, will take a little bit longer to sign. Ryan Helsley starting to get some offers out there. Yennier Cano, we throw out an offer too. We'll see if he accepts that. Cleveland on our tails. And Jose Leclerc and Trevor Stephan getting some nods as well. All the closers have signed. Logan O'Hoppe. There's the Giants again. Shea Langoliers might be going back to the team that drafted the Atlanta Braves. They already have Will Smith, Sean Murphy. I don't know what they're doing, man, but they just love catchers apparently. And also Seattle and Miami aggressive on Langoliers, so his market's starting to heat up. And Tyler Stevenson there as well. Tristan Casas, he's starting to get some offers now. Seattle and the White Sox have thrown their hat in the ring. 3 pretty similar offers, just basically what team does he prefer in this case. Luis Campusano and the Reds talking off, and Yandy Diaz, again, been with the KC Royals for the last couple of years. They have an offer on him as well. Clayburgh has some offers. No, not much left in second base. Royce Lewis, probably one of the bigger fish left out there. A's, Nationals, Orioles. Who would have thought those guys throwing out big money for Royce Lewis? Deserved. And really not that much money. Wants just about 16 a year, or 17 a year, and someone's going to give it to him. Jose Ramirez yet to get a deal. I'm sure he'll be a late signing as well. Utility guy. O'Neal Cruz starting to get some offers. There's the Giants again. Anthony Volpe maybe be staying in the American League East, but not with the Yankees. See what kind of career has Volpe had? Yeah, home run numbers are okay. The bat just has not come alive, and he's getting about 2 to 3 WAR a season, but mostly all with the glove. So just hasn't been that bat you thought he was going to be. C.J. Abrams getting some looks as well. Now that Steer has signed, basically the rest is what's left in left field. Outman. One of the better players left. Cleveland trying to go aggressively after Duran. No offers for the 2 old center fielders, and nothing in right field is no. If anything else changes, I'll let you know. So Yennier Cano is going to go to the Guardians, no longer with us, so we lose out another relief pitcher. David Peterson going to the Red Sox on a pretty decent deal. Again, adding another solid arm to an overall solid bullpen. Shea Langoliers to Houston. Didn't see them on the list when we checked in with Shea, so he's going to Houston. Got his ring. Gonna get his bag now. It's time for the draft lottery, and we're going to be picking 30 for the first time. We do not really care what happens in this draft lottery. Again, still can't believe we are World Series champions. That is crazy. For the first time, I don't give a shit about this lottery. Just hope that all of our rivals fall. And look at this. Big fallers in Detroit, not Arizona, St. Louis, Texas, and the A's all drop 3 to 6 spots. And the Reds, Pirates, Royals, Mariners, and Blue Jays jump all the way up. Basically, 9 through 6 and 1 through 5 switching spots. That's a crazy, crazy, crazy lottery. I'm glad that we didn't have the top pick. Again, the three worst teams in the league have the 6th, 7th, and 8th pick. That's crazy. Yeah, our first trade to announce. We're going to make some moves here as we got to the winter meetings, talk to some GMs. Here's what we got. Chase Dollander does not have a bunch of value, obviously, has struggled in the major leagues, has these years where he's getting $6 million. But we're going to send him to the Washington Nationals. We're going to get David Bike, a guy from Taiwan, a catcher. They obviously have DeAndre Jordan, who's going to be an absolute stud, rookie of the year, or an all-star last year. Marcel Bush with the rookie of the year, so catcher position for them is solid for the next forever. So David Bike, again, got to be a depth catcher for us, get some more talent in here. The best player that anyone was really willing to give us for Dollander, and we kind of were just trying to get rid of him. We have our starting pitchers ready and waiting, so thank you, Chase, but unfortunately didn't pan out. Another trade we're making, Max Wagner is going to the Angels. Just a guy who kind of wanted to just get him off the roster, clear up a 40-man spot, clear up some cash. Third base, we're pretty much set. We're starting to use some of his options. He only has 1 more year left. 27 years old, kind of needs a spot right now. We're going to give him to the Angels, who can give him that. Doug Kroger's going to come back to us. Good reliever with 5-pitch mix. We're also going to get Jose Ornelas, a starter, low-end starters, a guy that'd be some depth for us, and not the flashiest of trades, but a trade we're going to make right here with the Angels, who we dealt with last year, giving them Jordan back. I believe the final trade we're going to make right now, finally found a home for Zach Veen. It's going to go to the Marlins. We're going to get Fred Gerber, a shortstop. Had a really great season last year. More of a power bat, so a very interesting guy, but we just really needed some more prospects in our infield, especially in our middle infield, and Gerber's going to bring that to us. They have guys like Adam Briggs, Brendan Rodgers, and Geraldo Perdomo all under contract, all playing, so we feel like, all right, that's kind of a surplus they can bring out, and he's most likely going to be playing left field for them, Zach Veen is. So Veen going back to Florida to play for the Marlins. All right, Royce Lewis finally found a home. He is going to the nation's capital. They fill a spot in their infield. He can kind of play all over the place, so interesting to see where they move. So Rule 5 draft has come and gone. We did not pick anyone. Here's who other players picked. Tony Santillan going to the Cardinals. Richard Herrera to the Rangers, a really good player there. Howard Fowler to the Tigers. Will Klein to the Blue Jays. Eddie Sandoval to the Oakland Athletics. Landon Knack to Seattle, and Mario Acevedo to San Diego, with Evan McKendry going to the Red Sox. So not a whole bunch. Basically all pitchers, so no position players got snagged. I know we left a few guys out there on the table. So there we go. Another swap here. We're sending Grant Levine to the Red Sox for Raymond Gonzalez. Gonzalez, a young shortstop, again, just trying to bolster up the middle infield defense. We had a bunch of first baseman prospects. So Grant Levine, kind of the odd man out. He's going to go one of our oldest guys. They have not signed a first baseman yet. Tristan Casas hasn't been confirmed back. They do have Dom Smith, Blaze Jordan, but Levine can kind of compete there. Not the greatest first base group, but potentially a solid one. Lefty bat, Fenway Park, always plays. Good fielder, really picked up the power stroke for us last year, so good deal in my opinion. Logan O'Hoppe finally signs. He goes to the Mets, 5 years, $52 million. Good deal for the Mets, so they probably lose out on Alvarez. Anthony Volpe going to Toronto, 5 years, $60 million, so does stay in the AL East, this time going north of the border. Ryan Helsley to the Arizona Diamondbacks. Just 2 years deal. He was still out there. He's going to Arizona to bolster up their bullpen. O'Neal Cruz to the South Side. Yep, South Side, North Side, South Side. I think they're South Side. Southsiders get North Side. Either way, he went to a side, north or south, doesn't matter. He's gonna hit bombs in Wrigley Field. C.J. Abrams, big deal with the Dodgers. Again, just have money always, never don't. Tristan Casas signs with the A's, so they have gotten some pretty good guys over the last few years. Tristan Casas adding to it, 41 bombs last year, and a good thing the Red Sox did take our trade because they officially lose their stud first baseman. I'm not sure how you allow that to happen, but there he goes. Garrett Whitlock, former Red Sox, now current Atlanta Brave, back, I believe Georgia's where he's from. So modest year last year, kind of in that kind of in that cycle of really good year, okay, like bad year, really good year, bad year. So hopefully the Atlanta Braves think that they're going to get a good year from him. All right, some big fish, just the kind of big guys still out there. Outman still out there. Brown still out there. Duran now out there. Jose Ramirez, O'Neill, Marte. So just only a couple more guys to make decisions. Duran to Cleveland, 3 years, $56. Tyler Neal signs to Seattle, 2 years, $14 million a year. Or $14 million, $7 million a year. Hunter Brown to the desert. Arizona picks up Hunter Brown on a 6-year deal. So again, some of our rivals getting better. Mad we beat them in the NLCS, so they're coming at our throats, adding some more. San Rafaela getting $4.3 million in arbitration. Jose Ramirez to Boston, so they get a guy to play third base. This probably moves Rafael Devers over to first. What I suspect to be the final trade is going to be Ceddanne Rafaela going to Seattle. He finally agreed to his arbitration, got $4.3 million this year. We're not paying that. We're sending him off. Getting Michael Arroyo, third baseman, infielder type guy. Kind of just to reset that. Just reset the service time, reset the money. He can play the same positions Rafaela can. Bat similar, fielding obviously a scale below, but still a really good fielder. And then we are picking up a prospect who has some good upside, but might take a while. Patrick Dubois, right fielder, just going to be toiling down in single A for a couple seasons, and maybe it could be something. Maybe we trade him away. Who knows? All right, free agency is done. This is kind of what the team is looking like right now. Here's the pitching staff. Got rid of some of the, not the dead weight, but some guys who just weren't going to make it for us on this roster. But I think we got better. I think we maintained. We got better in areas. We're going to still have to figure out what we're going to do at right field, what we're going to do with that mixture of guys who are, the Yankees, Gorman, and Nolan Jones triangle, figuring out who is going to be in right field. It's not going to be Colin Barber, I can tell you that. But yeah, this team is rearing and ready to go. GM survey says we're the 12th best team in the league. We'll see. Right now, price is at 129.9. So we got $10 million extra spent. I think we spent it wisely. Still, our core guys locked up. It's Amador and Romo next. And I believe it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. We'll see you then. We'll catch you next time here with Colorado Rockies.